Since the official air flight discovery of South America's mysterious Nazca Lines, deemed Earth's greatest artwork, found in the 1920s, hundreds if not thousands of photos have been taken, including drawn and aerial land map surveys. Nazca could not be totally inspected, verified and detailed until satellite technology, Google Earth, computers and the internet were created, making this decoding no accident. In defined detail, using the Plateau Desert as a natural blackboard with a mountain range for a significant message, the Nazca Lines reveal a colossal message, as the Great Pyramid blueprints, uncovering what we know today of the Great Pyramid, and what we don't know as of yet, that these megalithic blueprints explain and verify a missing equation of humanity's history. Well, this is our Nazca Lines video, which can be found on our YouTube channel. We're about to go through this decoding with a lot more detail, so we've paused it here at the 15-minute mark. The different thickness of the lines create diagrams and geometric shapes which show directional markers, pencils, tape measures and rulers. Essentially they are tools, everything needed to create or read blueprints. Here we have a megalithic ruler laid out on the plateau of Nazca. By following the line that connects with the base of the ruler, where it says start here, you will find a directional marker. This directional marker, again megalithic in size, is showing us the first line facing us on the 3D pyramid. As we follow the line through the southern part of the desert, we come to another directional marker. The lines laid out at Nazca are showing us a blueprint. This is how we would read the blueprints if the blueprints were scaled down to a normal size. But at Nazca, it is created so that it can only be deciphered from above. The message here is of the Great Pyramid of Giza, another mystery that we have still yet to decode fully. Here we have another line coming from that same colossal ruler, and it will show us other rulers along the way, showing us the 51.5 degree angle of the Great Pyramid's slope. This ruler, outlined in blue, is showing you the direction of the slope. Another ruler we will show along the way has been left without colour, so that you can see how they removed the dirt to show the gypsum below, exposing the colour contrast of the Nazca Lines. And as we get to the bottom of this line, it shows another directional marker which ends the line as an anchor or the base of the corner of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now going back, change the ruler. At the peak of the Great Pyramid we find another line. And of course, these lines all show rulers as you would need when reading or creating a blueprint. As you can see, there are many different lines. The different thickness of lines correctly identify which diagram is which. But you must pay close attention when viewing Nazca through Google Earth, for there are many tire tracks where people have driven around, and you can easily get confused. Paying attention to detail is the key. Here we see, outlined in red, which should actually be outlined in yellow, for it denotes a pencil, at the corner of this base. The lines going through the corner of that denote a mathematical construction of the corner. Here we see a quick shot of the thickness of the line. If you pay attention, you will see the different thicknesses of lines, and each line creates a diagram. Here we see the two corners of the Great Pyramid of Giza in 3D form. More lines are being connected, which are drawn at Nazca. And again, here we see a base marker showing where that line ends. The difficult thing for you guys to observe while watching these videos is that sometimes our lines don't match up with that which are on the ground. That is because Nazca is designed to be seen properly from a distance. So when you roll out far enough, the lines will match up perfectly. We have not created additional lines. Everything you see here is drawn in Nazca. Anybody can download Google Earth and using their drawing tools can recreate exactly what they see here. You can start anywhere at Nazca. You can color code your lines any which way you like, but if you pay close attention and detail to the thicknesses and widths of each individual line and diagrams, you will soon end up finding certain aspects of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Here we see, right in the center line, a square laid out as a base block. Here we see another directional marker. This line creates another line opposite of the triangle, showing you the face of the Great Pyramid. Now remember, this is a blueprint, so we are looking at it through the schematics of an architect. Another directional line, another directional marker. This line connects across the base. If you look at the background, you can see the size of the mountain ranges. These directional arrows are actually megalithic in size. Dried riverbeds. These lines go straight through them and over mountains. As you will see in this video, some lines stretch for miles. And here again we see another ruler. And yes, these rulers are laid out in different sizes. But they are rulers. You will notice now the Great Pyramid is coming together in its form. The lines and directional markers being shown right now show the peak of the Great Pyramid of Giza as it looks when it's finished. This we denote as the shining of the peak, done in blueprint form. Again, another directional marker. By following the lines, we are creating a pattern, and as you can see, the lines are different thicknesses. That's why the colours have been chosen, to show the differences. They're also laid out in block patterns, so that they are more identifiable between a ruler and a pencil. A directional marker. The Nazca lines can appear very complex, but if you understand Giza, you'll understand that these were built by an intelligent, advanced civilization. Giza was built with an intelligence in mathematical form and not just by a pile of rocks. These blueprints verify that. Now we start to see how the Great Pyramid is coming together in Nazca in blueprint form. Many photographs have been taken of Nazca since its mainstream discovery in the 1920s, but really it wasn't until Google Earth that Nazca could be seen as a whole megalithic structure. Of the thousands of photos that have been taken, none of them were able to portray Nazca as such a great, colossal message. By researching each line, by following each tape measure, directional marker and ruler, it will all bring together the Great Giza blueprints right here in the Nazca lines. Being in blueprint form, the Giza Pyramid is in 3D. The square that was just shown is what mainstream academics have been calling a star shaft. This square is placed in the exact same place as it is at Giza. It shows from the reverse side like a see-through, so that it's not actually on this side of the diagram. Here we've changed the color of the background to show the diagram without interference from the natural land surrounding it. Here it is showing us, by connecting these megalithic lines, a triangle or a pyramid. A pyramid with a star shaft, or as we have correctly labelled it, a celestial causeway, which we have previously revealed on our decoding of the Great Giza Pyramid, can be found on YouTube or our website. What we're seeing here is a geometric representation of a square. What we're seeing here is the Great Pyramid blueprints on a blue background. This here is a directional marker. Below it you can see the ruler. That line created is 13 kilometers long. It is so wide that the Pan American Freeway was built on top of it. remembering it is 13 kilometers long, but also by measuring the base, it's 13 kilometers wide. This 13-kilometer long triangle is showing a 2D cutaway of the interior of the Great Pyramid of Giza. This ruler denotes the entrance, which has been carved on top of a mountaintop, which many have mistaken for a sheared off mountain. But geologists recognize this as a natural plateau, as we find all over the world. This line in white from the entrance shows the ascending passageway. Here we see the blue turning into the red arrow, showing us the location to the Queen's chamber. The white arrow below shows the descending passage to the subterranean chamber. Here we are again looking at the descending passage. These arrows we are about to reveal show the location of the king's chamber. This diagram, again 13 kilometers long, drawn in the plateau of Nazca, is showing us a 2D cutaway of Giza. Showing what we already know about Giza, it shows the entrance. It shows where the entrance goes straight into the subterranean chamber. The end of the mountaintop's natural plateau, which is used as a ruler, divides the descending passageway of the ascending passageway. Here we see it laid out with a different background, so that it has a different view, so that it's more identifiable as a blueprint. Archaeologists nor academics have yet to understand this colossal message. Geologists have estimated the lines to be approximately 2,000 years old by looking at what was found around the lines. But in truth, there's no way to date the lines themselves. So as you can see, they are coming together as a blueprint of a pyramid, but not just any pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Giza. But how could this be when Giza's on the opposite side of our planet? While the Great Pyramid of Giza is found in Egypt, the Nazca lines are in South America. These blueprints reveal everything we know about Giza. But what our first video has not revealed is that Nazca has different schematics, revealing many known facts about Giza. But these blueprints are yet to reveal unknown facts about Giza. If you are to study Nazca, you will then see what a colossal message that is being left here. Here we see a giant Y laid out perfectly, as we know the three pyramids of Giza are. This giant Y shows each pyramid in its location. should be asking anybody why. Here we have a geoglyph. The geoglyphs of Nazca are thought to be drawn separate from the lines themselves, but are actually part of the blueprint to help us understand the mathematics. Here we have the hands. It appears like a person doing a push-up, looking straight up at you. We have 5 fingers on one hand and 4 on another. This also has a 90-degree angle, showing the 3, 4, 5. Here we see a geoglyph of a tree. By observing the center lines in the tree, we are revealing the branches and the limbs over the roots to be calculated as a math procedure. Which all blueprint understanding comes with math. As we know, to understand the math of the Great Pyramid of Giza, one must have a very high knowledge of mathematics, as these geoglyphs represent. The other thing these geoglyphs represent is the knowledge of the Creator's drawings of species from across the earth. They were as intimate with our planet as our scientists are today. You can tell that by the very representations of the different animals shown in the Nazca lines. They show us truth and an understanding of a very complex planet. Each geoglyph is a designated part of the Great Pyramid. Here we have our friend Eric. Eric has been denoted through history as an astronaut, which was deemed by Erich von Däniken. So affectionately, we have named him Eric. He is showing us a 360-degree ratio, doubled, which has been referred to as radian math. The phonic of this giant is giant math. And we need giant math for a giant pyramid, and in this case, a 13-kilometer high pyramid. Here we have the whale. The whale geoglyph is split through his back by what is referred to as a carpenter's square, also needed when reading blueprints. If you look at his eye, you will notice that his eye is coming out and touching the square, which is in the ratio of pi mathematics. Here we can see the spider. The spider, interestingly enough, is divided in 2 different places. They have used the legs to calculate with. They show 12 below and 4 above. They have used his abdomen as a 360-degree circle of which to multiply by. The ratio comes out at 144.000. Now note, there is 144,000 casing stones at Giza, and the spider's foot is within a casing stone. So the phonic is casing. Here we see a tape measure. Another directional marker, another directional marker, the different thicknesses of the lines. So by following each one, we will get a different pattern, revealing the different diagrams. Here we see the hummingbird, and you may notice he is upside down. We know that hummingbirds eat in increments, and that his beak is attached to a ruler. The hummingbird is surrounded by an arc of mountains on the plateau. But if we turn him over, we can see him properly. We can count his points, which is 18. He is then shown as a 180-degree protractor. This diagram is showing you the different increments needed to create the apex of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The hummingbird's phonic is showing that he is hovering and he is upside down, so stop and turn the picture over. Understanding Nazca is relatively easy. Here's the keys. As Nazca is a blueprint in architectural form, there are rulers, tape measures, pencils, and chevrons, which are directional markers used in architectural blueprints conveyed in the construction industry, which academia labels Nazca's geoglyphic symbols as geometric shapes and trapezoids. Nazca, scaled down, shows the trapezoids and geometric shapes within the lines as rulers, chevrons, and tape measures needed for a blueprint, as this video shows. The geoglyphs play an important part as architectural reading icons to read the blueprints and its numerical measurements. Our grandancestors understood language constantly changes without structured form throughout the ages, but the phonics, math, geometry doesn't. It progresses and is what is essential for an intelligent civilization to conquer modern technology, exposing the riddle as to why behind this archaic message. The Nazca Giant in the 2D pyramid cutaway is located at the end of the Queen's Chamber's northern celestial causeway shaft. He has his hand over his head, waving to signify, "Come find me, I am hidden here behind the northern shaft's end." Our ancestors have hidden a clue to our history in the Great Pyramid of Giza, which is being shown by Nazca's Eric the Giant. The revelation of the Nazca Great Pyramid blueprints verify what has just been identified by the recent sonar scan of the Great Pyramid.
Two weeks of new thermal scanning in Egypt's Giza pyramids have identified anomalies in the 4,500-year-old burial structures, including a major one in the largest pyramid, the Antiquities Ministry announced Monday. Antiquities Minister Mamdouh El-Damati and technical experts working on the project showed the higher temperature being detected in 3 specific adjacent stones at the bottom of the pyramid in a live thermal camera presentation to journalists. The scanning showed a particularly impressive one anomaly located on the eastern side of the Khufu pyramid at ground level, the ministry said in a statement. The largest of the three Giza pyramids is known locally as Khufu and internationally as Cheops. The thermal scanning was carried out at all times of the day, including during sunrise, as the sun heats the structures from the outside, and then during sunset as the pyramids are cooling down. The speed of the heating and cooling phases is being used to uncover hypotheses such as empty areas in the pyramids, internal air currents, or different building materials used. The first row of the pyramid's stones are all uniform, then we come here and find that there's a difference in the formation, said Eldamati, pointing at the three stones showing higher temperatures. While inspecting the area, Eldamati said they found that there is something like a small passage in the ground that you can see, leading up to the pyramid's ground, reaching an area with a different temperature. What will be behind it? Other heat anomalies were detected in the upper half of the pyramid that the experts said need to be investigated further. Eldamati invited all Egyptologists, especially those interested in ancient Egyptian architecture, to join in the research and help come up with ideas on what could be behind the anomalies.
Here we have a diagram of the Great Pyramid shown in our previous video, exposing a hidden compartment which the Giza sonar scan also verifies. This orange triangle has a tape measure in its center. At one end has a boulder stone attached. This diagram explains, if you measure from the cornerstone to this location, you will find a secret area. By following this tape measure cornerstone, it continues through the diagram, resembling a star which lays out the pyramid's interior and also dips below the pyramid's corner, signifying a hidden chamber. If the Egyptian authorities truly wish to know everything there is to know about the Great Pyramid, they only need consult Atlantis Awakes Nazcad Great Pyramid Blueprints. Ancients left nothing to chance. By following the summer and winter solstice light that crosses through the geoglyphs of the hummingbird, condor, and heron, the solstice sunlight crosses the peaks of the Nazca 3D and 2D pyramids, just as it does the Great Pyramid in Giza, showing another of Nazca Line's long-held secrets. The white 2D cutaway view, measuring across the bottom 13.1 kilometers wide, while the height measured by the white lines is 12.6 kilometers long, making this man-made mountain taller than Earth's recorded tallest mountain, Mount Everest, at 29,000 feet, as Nazca's 2D pyramid is 39,000 feet in height. These pyramid blueprints are a message, and not the originals found within the desert lines, which puts an end to Nazca's mystery and all denial. The word pareidolia is associated as a common occurrence for artists such as testified regarding Da Vinci, for example. Its meaning refers to seeing elephants and whales hidden within cloud shapes, a pastime as children we have all enjoyed. Also proven, it sometimes can mean what is there in plain sight, most can't see, as in abstract art, a left-brain thought process to be precise. So it is with Nazca, where the line of truth is drawn. From researching ancient history and reviewing the hidden stories told at Nazca, it is quite possible our ancestors left these messages, knowing full well the greed and hypocrisy of man would keep mankind's true history unacknowledged by those who would keep these secrets for their own personal use. Thus, our parent civilization created a message that when we developed advanced technology for worldwide use, the message could be deciphered